Hi kids, welcome to our lesson today. Today we're going to learn about the topic of heat stroke. And our objective for today is to learn about the issue of heat stroke and define what it is and how to prevent it and how to treat it. Okay? So in order to do that today, I have an agenda, and our agenda for the day is we're first going to define heat stroke. We're going to talk about the symptoms of heat stroke, and then we're going to play a little game, a symptoms game. After we're done the game, we're going to have a little discussion on how to treat heat stroke, because it's a very important thing to be able to treat it. And then we're going to do a little treatment role play. One of you will pretend to have heat stroke, and the rest of you will try to help treat that person. And then we'll have a quick discussion on ways we can prevent heat stroke, and then have a quick review. All right? So, what is heat stroke? Anybody have an idea of what heat stroke is? Rebecca?
When someone gets too hot.
Okay, yeah. Too hot. Okay. Anything else? Claire?
When you get dehydrated.
Okay. Dehydrated. Anything else? No? Okay. So, heat stroke, it's actually a medical emergency. Okay? What does that mean? Well, that means it's very, very serious. Okay? And someone who is suffering from heat stroke needs to get help from doctors. Okay? Usually, heat stroke occurs when there's also dehydration. Okay, what's dehydration? Anybody?
When you don't drink anything.
Yeah, not enough fluids. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. So that's in general what it is. The actual definition of heat stroke is when the core body temperature, so that's how hot your inside of your body is, greater than 105 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty hot. Normally, you're about 98 degrees Fahrenheit, so you're a lot hotter. Okay? So, what do you think causes your body temperature to get up that high?
The sun.
That's right.
And the heat.
That's right. And the other part of it is prolonged. Everybody know what prolonged means? Really long, you're in the sun for a really long time. Okay? Prolonged exposure to heat and humidity. Anybody know why humidity is important? Heat's one thing. If it's really dry out, right? If it's really dry out, you could be really hot. And you could be sweating, and the sweat actually gets to evaporate off your body. If it's really hot and it's humid, right? You know those really sticky days? That's humid days. What happens is the sweat doesn't get to evaporate off your body. So what happens if the sweat doesn't evaporate off your body? Anybody? Claire?
It gets hotter.
Right, you don't get a chance to cool off, right? Because the sweat is actually what cools you down, okay? So, the real medical definition of heat stroke is your body temperature exceeds 105 degrees and you have prolonged exposure to heat and humidity, okay? So everybody good with that? Okay, so what are some of the symptoms of heat stroke? And I think what we're going to start with is we're going to have a little discussion. I think everybody may have in the past been sick and have had a fever, right? So let's talk about what are some of the symptoms of fever. Rebecca?
Get hot and then cold and hot.
Yeah. Hot, cold, right? Maybe some shivering. Okay. Claire?
You feel like you're gonna throw up.
Okay, nausea. And maybe it becomes vomiting. Actually, throwing. Do you have one? No?
Drowsiness?
Drowsiness, yeah. What about disorientation? You don't know what you're doing, right? You're staggering around. Okay, what could be some of the more severe cases of fever? Yeah. Rebecca? Okay, headaches? Okay. Claire?
For the first one, I was gonna say, like, you get, it's hard to walk and.
Yeah. So that's okay. Maybe muscle aches, cramps, right? Do we have one more? Seizures, right? That's in the worst case of fevers. Okay. So let's compare that to heat stroke. All right. So, do you guys think any of these symptoms are symptoms of heat stroke? Claire?
Maybe the muscles and cramps.
Yeah, so this is definitely,
And drowsiness.
yeah, drowsiness and disorientation, yeah. Headaches is another one. Okay. Seizures in the really worst case. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, nausea and vomiting. So those are all similar conditions that you would experience with a person that has heat stroke. There's one more very important symptom of heat stroke, and this is unconsciousness.
Unconscious.
Okay? What does that mean? Unconscious. Claire?
Like, you're not asleep, but you're like.
Yeah, you're kind of asleep.
Sleeping.
You look like you're asleep. You're not responding to anybody. And the key to it is you look like you're asleep, but someone can't wake you up. All right? So what we're going to do is, I think, for us to understand what these symptoms look like, we're going to play a little game.
Yay!
All right? And what I have here is a bag full of symptoms. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a chance to pick a symptom out of the bag, act it out, and then everybody else is going to guess what the symptom is. And I'm going to give you about 10 or 15 seconds to act out your symptom. Okay? Here, I'll let you pick the first one. All right? So come on up to the front once you pick your thing and act out your symptom. Okay? Right on. Good. Excellent. Good job. Right. You get the new one. All right. Come and act it up. All right. All right. Did anybody guess what she has? Yeah. Excellent. Good job.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, Rebecca, come on up. first? All right, good. That's good. All right, your turn. Last but not least. Coming up to the front and work it out. Rebecca? Good. Good job. Good. All right, that's a fun game, right? All right. Okay, so now we know how to figure out if a person has heat stroke because we know what the symptoms are, right? So how do you think we could treat heat stroke? Let me just get cleaned up here. Got my pens back. Okay, what do we think if we suspect someone has heat stroke? What do we think the first thing we should do is? Okay, so call 911. All right. So that is important. And why do we want to call 911? To help person get treatment. Okay. If we're around a sailing club, what can we do? Rebecca? What should we tell someone?
Yeah.
Okay. So how about we tell someone? You know, maybe your instructor, coach, instructor. Okay. So we figured out a person has heat stroke. We are getting that person help. What sort of things can we do in the meantime to provide first aid to the person? Okay, we can put ice on them, right? Okay. What else?
If usually the sailing club would have like a hose or something, you
Water.
can hose them down.
Water. Okay. Rebecca? Okay. Air conditioning room. Anything else? What if you didn't have an air conditioning room? Okay. All right. Remove articles. Okay. Anything else? Fan. Good. These are all good. If you were to ice them down, where do you think the best place to put the ice is? On the person. Neck? Yeah. Where else? No. Yeah, she said neck. Anybody else? Okay, arms. Armpits. We could say back. And knees. Yep. Their legs. How about, instead of their legs, how about their groin? Why do you think we pick these places and maybe not their stomach? No. So all these areas, the blood veins and arteries, are close to the surface. So what you want to do is to cool the person's blood down. And so if you put the ice under their arms, you get the ice to the best possible areas. Okay? All right. So we're going to play a quick game. I'm going to give Claire is going to be our victim, and you guys have to treat her. You're the one suffering from heat stroke. Okay? Okay? And I have a bag of medical supplies. Okay? And in this bag of medical supplies, we have some stuff we can treat people with. There's some ice. There's some wet towels. You're unconscious, so you won't know. So lie down. Pretend you're unconscious. All right? And then you guys have to try and treat her. So what's the first thing you guys are going to do? Okay, so call 911. Get someone to get help, right? And then what are you guys going to do? You guys have to figure it out. We're going to pretend those are wet towels. Good. All right, so that's great. You guys have put ice in the key areas on the body. So you're going to bring the victim's body temperature down while help is on their way. So that's excellent. Let's have a sit down. Are you all right? You're alive? Good. Let's go sit down. And what we're going to talk about next is how can we prevent heat stroke? Okay? What do you think some of the things we can do for preventing heat stroke? Rebecca?
Wear hats and
Okay.
wear something that's not wear something that covers your body that isn't
Perfect.
bright. Wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
Not
Okay, what else?
lots of water.
Right. Okay, so here's some examples. So here's a really good hat to wear on a sunny day because it keeps your head cool and it's wide. It keeps like the sun completely off your head. Do you think this is a good shirt?
No.
No, why?
Because it's black on tracksuit.
Right. Okay, so we have another shirt here. You think this is a good shirt?
It's good, but it wouldn't be good for sailing.
Right, it's good because it's a very light color, but this one
It's better.
is probably better because it covers more of your body. Okay?
And
Right?
it's cute.
We got sunscreen so you don't get a sunburn. Helps keep the sun out of you. And we got water. So a rule of thumb when you're out doing activities is before you do the activity, about a couple hours before the activity, you should drink one of these bottles. Okay? And about 15 minutes before you do your activity, you should drink another half a bottle. Okay?
Refill.
Yep, and refill it. Or have other bottles, right? And for every hour of activity you're doing in the sun, you should be drinking about a quarter to a half of these, depending on how strenuous your activity is. So the key is you gotta drink lots of water. All right? And then one of the last things you can do is maybe have the occasional Gatorade or sports drink, because it helps replenish some of the salt in your body. Okay? Now, to finish up. Where's my eraser? We talked about what heat stroke is. Okay? So we talked about heat stroke. It's temp greater than 105. Too much sun, right? We talked about the symptoms. Okay? We talked about nausea, vomiting, cramps. Yeah, someone said seizures.
Drowsiness.
Yeah. Okay? And unconsciousness. Okay? Talk about treating. Get help, right? Talk about cooling them down. Right? And what else How do we prevent it?
You have to drink lots of
Water,
Drink water, sunscreen.
clothing, etc. All right? Everybody understand what heat stroke is now?
Yeah.
You can help your friends out if they experience it. Good. All right, that's it for our lesson today.